Keith, what will you expect from the New York Police Department in the coming hours?
We're certainly expecting more information about what happened here in a very horrific incident. We have heard early reports that this was a targeted attack and that the shooter had been waiting for this individual, sadly the victim, to show up. That's what we've been hearing. There was an investor conference, I believe, today that was taking place, and this individual was waiting outside. That's what we've heard so far from the police. We want, of course, a suspect. We want an arrest. And we want, of course, more information to make sure New Yorkers know they're going to be safe.
In the election, Keith Powers, they do blue arrows and red arrows about the changing tone of any city in America. Across the 5 boroughs, maybe with the exception, as a generalization, folks, of the Upper West Side, this city swung in a direction towards Trump. Was that because of crime? And can you, from the 4th District of the City Council, report on improving crime situation in New York?
Absolutely. I think part of the swing that we're seeing in certain areas, it's not all related to public safety and quality of life, but I think there are real concerns in the city about exactly what's taking place when it comes to public safety and quality of life. And that can be anything. That can be the everyday nuisances to serious major crime incidents that are happening. I think people are particularly concerned around random incidents of crime. This one was a targeted incident, and mental health and the state of the mental health system. And people should be asking tough questions right now. We saw the 3 murders a couple of weeks ago at the hands of one individual who had a mental health issue.
Yeah.
This is different than that. This is seems to be somebody with a more personal grievance here and a very unfortunate, sad incident. But altogether, people package those things together and ask about exactly what's happening. And across the board, crime is in a place that in most categories that's pretty good, but there are areas that we have to be concerned about. In places like Midtown, you want to be safe from random attacks, you want to be able to walk down the street unobstructed, and New Yorkers deserve that, and we owe it to them.
Keith, tell us about Midtown Manhattan. For those of our listeners and viewers that don't get to New York City frequently, talk to us about Midtown Manhattan, particularly this time of year.
Well, I mean, a couple things about Midtown. One is we are obviously going through the holiday surge and boost right now, where people are coming in from all over the world, all over the region, to see the tree, which is lighting up tonight, to see all the tourist destinations, to go to Fifth Avenue. But the other side of that is what's happening. We're seeing a little bit of a resurgence when it comes to office space and people coming back to Midtown. We're seeing office conversions taking place right now to create residential opportunities in offices that aren't occupied or filled in the same way. But at the ground level, people are asking questions about exactly enforcement of laws, making sure we're tackling quality of life concerns, making sure that we're attending to the needs here of the streetscape, because we want to get more people into Midtown at all times. Our tourism sector, our Midtown office sector are huge parts of our economy.
Keith Powers, part of the tone of Keith Powers' politics is, I believe I can say this, in the Democratic Party. There's 14 Republicans, Paul, in New York City. But within that, Keith, you've shifted somewhat to the center over the years. We have here, as in any major city across this nation, a debate about police department leadership. Jessica Tisch is a known commodity. Please describe the triangulation of Keith Powers' day-to-day work with Mayor Adams over to Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
Absolutely. Well, look, I always do what I think is the right thing to do and would listen to my constituents. And you have to be responsive and be on the ground as a city council member to talk to your constituents and address the things they call you about. And what I'm hearing a lot from folks right now is illegal cannabis stores opening up, concern about random crime that's taking place, mental health issues, and those are real. And so being responsive to those is part of our job. Jessica Tisch was a sanitation commissioner. She was, in my eyes, a great commissioner. She was innovative, had big ideas, but also had a team on the ground that was extremely responsive. You would call their office, you would get a response and a reaction to any issue in your district within a matter of minutes. So I like that responsiveness. I like that style of leadership. And we need strong and responsive leadership right now to address all these issues. We have a great city. People want to be here, but we deserve that when they come here the first time, they want to come back here the second time. That means they have a good experience. I like Commissioner Tisch a lot. I like the appointment. And alongside Mayor Adams, I think there is a large focus on public safety, on gun safety, on keeping people safe. And I'm aligned with the notion that right now, places like Midtown, we have to do more to tackle those issues.
One final question, Keith Powers. Speak across this nation as we do on Bloomberg Radio, and we of course should state, folks, that Michael Bloomberg of Bloomberg LP, of course, is the owner of Bloomberg Radio. At the margin, Keith Powers, you're in the trenches. How do we get better? I don't want some big Washington tone. I want in the trenches, Keith Powers. How do we get better at gun safety in New York, in Chicago, in Phoenix?
Look, enforcement. So having we had repealed a few years ago the actual policing units that get guns off the streets. We put that back in place. That is one tangible way to get illegal guns off the streets, and we take thousands off the streets when we investigate and actually uncover and recover guns. Two is going to just be better protection against trafficking illegal guns into the city. We do need our neighboring states to help out with that, but ensuring that we have tough enforcement, trying to make sure we can prevent and investigate in other places guns that are coming into the city. We also, a couple years ago, sped up our investigations process in my district at a facility here that does all the fingerprinting and all the forensics. We're moving much quicker to be able to identify who the suspects are and to go out and investigate them. Look, we need patrol on the streets to actually catch incidents before they become the worst case scenario. So it's a little bit of everything. But I can't not talk about the national crisis around gun control, but specifically in New York, the Supreme Court. We lost in the Supreme Court a test of our own gun laws here, which now makes it a lot more easier to carry a gun around in the streets of New York City. That's damaging to our safety here in the city as well.